What makes Broadsword special is the people. It's the way that we care so much for the work that we do, for each other and for our clients. I really think that there's a deep respect at Broadsword for the investment that our clients put into the projects that they ask us to be involved with, and we carry that respect all the way through the process. I think as well, we really care about how hard each other works. Event production is a physically and mentally exhausting at times a field to work in, and yet we manage to continue to respect how hard each other works and support each other, praise each other all the way through. I think that's what makes Broadsword special. The story of how I came to lead Broadsword. Well, I suppose that I am an unconventional choice as the leader. I'm a bit of an event novice. I joined the company 4.5 years ago, coming from a teaching background. It is worth saying that I did train in technical theatre, and it was my passion all the way through my teenage years. And I was lucky enough to go to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, where I did my degree and learnt how to do everything from rigging lights, sound, building stage sets, props, wardrobe, stage management. It instilled in me a fantastic work ethic, ability to solve problems, to work as a team, and that theory that the show must go on, and how important the value of production and the behind the scenes work was. And then moving into my career in education, well, that really came from having a young family in my 20s, and I'm quite a practical person and I needed a practical career choice. And yet I found myself very quickly taking on leadership responsibilities. I was chosen to pioneer a project across my county, which involved a lot of leadership training from outside sources across the country, and taking on the responsibility of a project and effecting change with people that were a little bit reluctant to change and take on something new taught me so many skills. And I think that I've taken that into Broadsword. One of my fellow directors describes me as the beating heart of Broadsword, and I think in lots of ways that's true. I am the person that keeps the company flowing and moving and staying healthy. But equally, I think I'm the person that holds the empathy in the company, and I'm the person that builds bridges between other people, a conduit, I suppose. And that really does make you the centre of everything, and therefore really a good leader, somebody that everyone can look up to and can respect. Some of the challenges along the way have definitely been to do with me stepping out of an all-female environment and into a more male-dominated environment at work. I've really had to step out of my comfort zone and learn how to communicate in a different way. But I think really more than that, I've had to learn to be wholly comfortable with myself. I'm quite a little person, I'm 5'1", and just my physical presence can put me on the back foot a little bit. So embracing who I am, embracing the fact that kindness is really important to me, empathy, caring, the culture that I've worked so hard to build at Broadsword is something to be proud of, and not something that I necessarily have to fight for or prove. And really focusing on the positive. I'm a really positive person. I'm a glass half full rather than half empty person, and focusing on what I bring and what I can do rather than all of the barriers that are in the way is really how I approach all challenges, and how I intend to carry on doing so in the future as well. One woman that has impacted my life, well, that's quite tricky because really there are two, and they both involve my education. The first is a lady that was my stage management tutor when I was at the Guildhall, and she stayed with me all the way through those 3 years, teaching me, nurturing me in different ways. And she had a real mantra for communication. She instilled in me a belief that if you really can nail communication, then anything is possible, and how communication needs to be at the heart of everything that we do. She had a phrase, never assume anything. And that's still something that I use today. It really drives everything that I do, the way I work, the way I help others, the culture that I build. And then the other person is my first boss, who was a female, my first head teacher when I started as a primary school teacher. And she helped me through a difficult stage in my life. I was starting a career that I'd worked hard for, but also I was starting a young family. And at the beginning, I didn't really think that it was possible. But she told me that it was important that I looked after myself as well as my children, and I didn't lose all of my dreams. And she really supported me, helped me, was really kind. And I've kept hold of that. And I think that's the sort of manager and the sort of boss that I try to be for the staff that work for us. The women's themes that I think still need greater awareness are to do with being a working mum. I'm a working mum, I've always been a working mum. I had my children in my 20s, I've not really known a working life without them. And yet I still do find that I am, like many other working mums, the project manager of my home. I think there needs to be a much greater awareness of shared parental responsibility. I think that both parents need to feel comfortable in asking their managers to go home to pick up the children if they're not well, attend a sports day, a class assembly. There is a bit of a perception that it's the mum's job to go and do those things, but actually both parents can do those things and should feel comfortable in asking permission to do those things and not worry that it's going to affect their career. I also think we need to find ways to help women feel more comfortable about talking about money. And I do think this really does come with confidence. I'm guilty of it myself. It's very easy as a female member of staff to focus on apologising, not feeling you're quite good enough, whereas our male counterparts often really do have a belief in themselves and the value that they bring to the workplace. But I don't really think it's enough just to say, oh well, you need to be a bit more like a man and you need to be more confident, you need to sell yourself, because this is innately who we are as women. I think there needs to be a greater awareness from managers and leaders that perhaps a female member of staff isn't going to push herself forward and ask for a pay rise and strut about explaining how fantastic she is at her job. But if you just scratch beneath the surface a little bit, you might see that there's a huge amount of hard work and dedication there. And if you actually sit down and have a conversation, you'll discover that that female member of staff has similar aspirations as her male colleagues. My experiences as a teacher have greatly influenced my leadership style and my approach to business. When I was a teacher, I learned how to bring a group of individuals with different skills and talents together to coexist in an environment where they could grow and develop. And actually, this is exactly the same as Broadsword. We have a group of people with different skills and talents, and we're all the time working to create an environment where they can all grow and develop. It's really important to me that we are open-minded to each other's differences. It's not a company where we want everyone to be the same, and actually being open-minded and being able to jump between different areas of work into each other's projects makes us stronger. And that's the same as education. It's not just about one person teaching everyone else how to do things. It's as much about what we can learn from each other. Looking to the future, the impact that I would like to make is to inspire women and men to recognise the innate qualities that women do bring to the workplace. I'm such an advocate of care, caring about the work that we do, about each other, about our customers. And I think that sometimes care can be attributed to the public sector more than the private sector. But there's such a place for it in business. I think caring deeply really does set you apart from your competitors. And I think this is something that I'd like to be an advocate of. I'd like to help celebrate in the event production industry, but perhaps wider afield as well. I'm also striving for a greater understanding and appreciation of differences in the workplace. And it's not really just about men and women, it's about different personalities, different ways of approaching problems, different ways of working with each other. And I'm such a believer that the more diverse a mix of people you have working for you, the greater service and quality of work you'll produce. I think as well I'd like to be a role model. I'd like to share my story with younger women and show them how I've managed to have a successful career, how I've managed to have a family. I'm good at my job, I'm a good mum, and it is possible, anything's possible. Just got to be open-minded and positive about it.